Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peg Brothers channel. Following up from the last discussion on Fishman Island, we're continuing with One Piece binge review by going over the also short-lived Punk Hazard. It's only 46 chapters. Josue and I think kind of feel the same about it, but let's just get into it and see what our thoughts are throughout this entire arc.
I think One Piece Punk Hazard arc is just one of the many arcs of One Piece.
It has a high beginning and high end. I think it's middle is where it struggles.
Yeah. Yes, I think the intrigue of the crew entering Punk Hazard is very high. Yes. Where you see this flaming burning castle, the dragon. The dragon is like.
Also, you're just as clueless as they are. So to you think, oh, every island in the new world is now like this. We're entering the new world, and this is the first thing we see. It must be just like this everywhere we go now.
Yeah, and honestly, I struggle to call it an island because it's an artificial island, isn't it? Wasn't it just created?
But we didn't know that. But we didn't know that going into it. We thought it was just a regular island. Yeah.
Mind you, isn't that so annoying? That sounds like one of the biggest fights that we should have seen.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. But I did like though that they at least gave us something from it. It's been weird if Akainu and Aokiji fought and just not even like we didn't see the fight but nothing came kind of out of it. At least we get to see some physical like results of it, which is insane because they're both so strong that their forces created a fucking island. It's kind of wild concept.
Yeah. I think that's always one of the best pieces of like one of my favorite parts about One Piece is that you may not see what happens. Like we didn't see the full fight between Ace and Blackbeard, but you always feel the repercussions of what happens in the world. So having an entire island, Punk Hazard, be the result of like the two strongest dudes, Akainu and Aokiji, like fighting to the death, right? It has to be to the death. Otherwise, they
didn't really fight to the death because none of them are dead.
They both lived. I know.
Yeah. I'm about to say it kind of defeats the purpose of fighting to the death.
Also, that must have been there has to have been a piece of land that they could have. They had to have stood on something.
I think that like I'm not gonna get to the science of it, but like I guess like if you have molten lava, enough of it creates a bedrock in water. So then like you have stable ground. Dude, I really don't know. It's One Piece. Like Luffy and Brook have lost
why Oda didn't want to show it.
Have lost a tooth and regained it via milk. So I think like the physics in One Piece just don't make sense at all.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's the point.
I thought the big.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I thought the beginning of the arc was obviously really cool and really got me into it. And I was thinking, oh, maybe Punk Hazard is actually going to be pretty good. We meet two of the most important characters in One Piece.
Yeah, Momo and Kinemon.
Kinemon. Yeah, and I had mixed opinions. I think everybody did. I'm assuming you had.
Yeah, the first time I saw Kinemon, I really thought he was just gonna be father. Like I thought he was gonna be like a random character we just met in Punk Hazard who just happened to be stuck there. I really think they were just gonna be Kinemon and Momonosuke. Both are just gonna be like kind of side characters. And it's kind of crazy to just see like how much of them and like what Law does of Luffy in this arc. It's crazy to see how much setup there is in Punk Hazard that it's now just paid off in 2022 now. That's crazy.
I think the four arcs that I like the least in One Piece, which is Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, Thriller Bark, and Skypiea, which I think that opinion is pretty universal for the most part, right? That those are usually the four most bottomly liked for a lot of fans.
Yeah.
I find it funny that those are also the four arcs that I feel like would have a completely different outlook on them if I reread the series from beginning to end.
I mean, I feel like any arc has so much more meaning now. When the series ends,
Yeah, but especially Punk Hazard. And I think one of the biggest examples for me, right, in Punk Hazard was the character of Virgo, who, when Virgo is introduced, no one cares about him. Right, like he just seems like this character that obviously has some sort of connection to Law, but when you're watching that fight meant nothing to me. That fight was cool. It was really cool, but I like a little bit more weight to enemies. But the weight was added to me in Dressrosa. Because that's when we get to know more about Virgo and Dressrosa. What happened?
I think Virgo versus Law is the best thing about Punk Hazard.
No, but I'm saying, so I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
It only became the best thing for me once I got to know more about Virgo in Dressrosa, which means that if I reread the arc, I'll be like, oh.
I'm speaking from just a first time read. That was the
Really?
best. Yes, because we don't know anything about Law, right? And I always like Law. I'm really biased. I like Law's character a lot, but we don't know anything about him, and he's in Punk Hazard now, and he clearly has some fucking setup going on because he wants an alliance of Luffy. He wants to do something with the Sad Factory. He's clearly planning something we have no idea what the fuck it is. And this Virgo guy comes up, and you can tell there's a connection between them, and you know what the fuck it is. And then when you find out Joker is Doffy, it gets even more later. Like, wait, okay, so Doflamingo is in charge of this operation, and Virgo works for him, but somehow Law's involved. So now you're wondering, what the fuck? Like, is Law like involved in that? So it creates such a, like a on the edge of my seat, like what's happening? And then like the big payoff was that, I mean, we can get to it later if you want, but like that cut through the entire island. You somehow missed it the first time you read it. I don't know how. That cut through the island was such a good moment in the fucking arc.
To be honest, and this is one of the things that I appreciate now that I'm caught up with One Piece, is that every time I read a chapter, I go on Reddit, I go on Twitter, and people always notice things, right?
Yeah.
On Reddit and Twitter, and so I'm always like, oh my god, there's more weight to every chapter that I read now. But when you're binging it and you don't do that, you're just reading.
You don't peep it.
Reading. I don't peep it, and it wasn't until you sent me that clip of the anime, I was like, wait, is that canon? Did Law actually cut half of?
Yeah, literally. And the craziest thing to me is also not the craziest. The coolest thing to me is we're skipping far ahead, but I think the coolest part of Punk Hazard was his little monologue when he cut him, because Joker or Doflamingo was listening, and he said, 2 years have passed since the Paramount War. What have you been doing? None of you have done anything. You, Kaido, Big Mom, none of you. Now I'm gonna break the gear. I'm gonna start moving the wheel, and that's crazy to me, dude.
Yeah. There's some stuff that I like to say in the middle. I love how this is like the roles have shifted a little bit. When now you're just going straight to the end because like fuck the middle, honestly.
It's like a tight because you said the Virgo Law thing didn't hit you as hard as me. That's why I got a little tense. Like, I gotta talk about it now.
That's true. I see. It is the best part of the arc for sure. But everything involving this arc was like perfect setup for Doflamingo as the enemy in the next arc.
Holy shit!
Like,
yes.
I thought Doflamingo was whatever before this, except for that monologue in Marineford, because that monologue in Marineford made me go like, I sat there like, hey, yo, this dude got.
He's kind of the point, yeah. Which makes you want to know more about him so bad.
Facts. And this arc, like, for all the problems that this arc may have, one of the setting up Doflamingo was not one of them. Nah. Like, I was here, like, I'm begging for more Doflamingo because he terrifies me. Like, he is a problem.
I think that was the first time we ever seen him frown too, by the way. Like, I think we've only seen him smile, and then Punk was the first time we've seen him actually visibly mad. And I was like, ooh, holy shit, I'm kind of terrified. I've never seen him frown like that.
I didn't even peep that. Yeah, I think you're definitely right. But it was the moment that, like, when he got so pissed when the factory was destroyed that he left Dressrosa. Was he like flying?
Yes. He started hooking onto the clouds and just headed towards them. Well, that's so fucking scary, dude.
Yes,
also,
because no one can do that. Like,
no, not at all. And what the crazy thing to me was also so he was fine with Law trying to fuck shit up because he thought Virgo's there. Virgo has always put you in your place, that's another part for me that when I was reading I was like, whoa, how deep does this Law Doffy can actually go? But he was like, Virgo's there, Monet's there, you guys, Caesar the Clown is there, you guys are not fucking with my shit, right?
I forgot.
We'll get to him.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, that was Caesar.
I forgot Caesar existed too.
We're gonna get to Caesar in a minute. But so he says there's nothing you can do about it, right? And seeing that when Monet dies, and you can tell that Monet is like very sad that she couldn't help Doffy. Seeing Doffy rage for that not only got me hyped, it's like, holy shit, he's mad, this is dope. But also I was like, holy shit, he actually like has people he cares about. Like, Doflamingo actually cared about Monet and Virgo, and I was like, this character is really interesting, dude. I can't tell if he's more mad they killed his men, Or he's more mad they destroyed the Sad Factory when he was headed towards them.
I think it's still the Sad Factory.
I think it might have been the crew, man. I think he legitimately loves his family a lot. Like, he'll do anything for his family.
I agree. That Sad Factory destruction just ruined his entire reputation in the entire world, essentially. Yeah. Like, in one night, in one day. Dude, okay, you know how we talked about how what happened at Marineford was pretty much the worst 48... Sorry. Shabadi was the worst 48 hours of Luffy's life, pretty much. That was the worst 48 hours of Doflamingo's life. Worst 48 hours. Like, it was just back to back. Everything's getting ruined for Doflamingo. But there are a couple of things, 2 things mainly in the arc. Well, I guess 3 that I want to bring up. We don't got to talk about them a lot because honestly, I don't think there's much to talk about. But do you remember? I'm assuming you had a much different experience about this when you were reading it chapter by chapter. But for some reason, I don't know why, I thought the Yeti Cool brothers were gonna have a much bigger impact.
I was gonna talk about that too. I think the Yeti Cool brothers were kind of disappointing because they started off really smart. They captured Frankie because he had Vegapunk's material, like he was made out of Vegapunk's like own science, and they thought that was very valuable. And they also thought, okay, we'll hold him as hostage because we can't beat Luffy, and using him as hostage, we can get Straw Hat out here. So I thought, okay, these guys are smart, they're cunning, like they're gonna be a problem. Law shows up and just chops them. I'm like, holy shit, you guys are so anticlimactic. That is crazy. That easily, guys? Really?
I think it was only like 4 chapters.
Yeah, honestly, that was it. And then we never saw him again. Never saw him again.
Never got that was what was Oda thinking? That was so stupid.
I really don't. I think he was just trying to show maybe that Law is just that guy, but like still. But speaking of useless, Smoker is the most useless Navy man in the entirety of One Piece, bro. Dude,
I forgot he was in this arc.
Do you know who he got clapped by in this arc? He got clapped by Virgo. He got clapped by Dolphy. He legit got clapped by Law. He got clapped.
Was it Caesar also or no?
Caesar didn't fight him. He got clapped by Virgo, Doflamingo, and Law, all in the same arc. Dude,
disappointing.
He never did anything.
Yeah, and it's disappointing because this is the last time that we've seen him up until where we are currently in the story. Dude,
I remember reading it and I see his transformation. I'm like, oh, he has a time skip look. That's fucking sick. And like he reveals that his baton now has sea prism in it. And I thought, that's sick. Like he's so confident in his own fighting ability that he has a weapon that can fuck him up. I'm like, this dude's gonna be insane. And then Law just takes out his heart. So now it's like, all right, so now you're my bitch. Like you have to do whatever I say. He also flips him with what's her name? Tashima? No, what's her name? Can't remember the name of the girl actually. That's pretty bad.
I know who you're talking about.
I think it's like Tashima or something like that. But
yeah.
He swaps souls with them, so now Smoker's completely useless in that body. Smoker, once he gets his body back, tries fighting Virgo, gets completely destroyed. Like Virgo goes full Armin and Haki and destroys him. And then after that, they all leave. Doflamingo shows up and he thinks, I gotta save my crew, and Doflamingo just washes him. I feel so bad for this character. He sucks.
I agree.
It's so bad.
And that's just unfortunate. What else can I say? Like, I agree. It's a horrible. I'm happy that Smoker was brought back in, and I think it made sense for him to get brought back in at this moment.
Yes.
And I can see why he hasn't been brought back since. Yeah. But Smoker deserves a lot better, especially if we want to take him seriously. Because every time I see him, I don't think he's a problem. I just think, oh, it's Smoker. There's Smoker. And I actually think that Buggy is more of a problem than Smoker at this point.
Honestly, yes. I remember
back in the day. That's not good.
Remember when Smoker first appeared, we thought, whoa, Luffy can't touch this guy. He actually can't do anything about him. And then now he's just like, well, dude, even in Punk Hazard, it was fucking bad, right? And now especially, what is Smoker gonna do if he sees Luffy again? I feel like I think Smoker's been through so many L's around the Straw Hats that at this point, I think he's just like, whenever I see him, I'm just gonna let them pass by. I'm gonna let them do their thing, bro. Out of sight, out of mind.
Just join the crew at this point, bro.
Oh, Tashigi. That's her name, Tashigi.
Tashigi. Okay. But I was going to ask you, because you brought it up, but a big element, a big part of the comedy in this arc was the gender swaps.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I thought it was really fun, actually. I generally think like the middle Punk Hazard was pretty like the pacing was pretty bad. I was getting a little bored, but the thing that kept me entertained was the swap, because at least that was like a little fun switch on things. Like Chopper being switched. I mean, Frankie being in Chopper's body was hilarious because Chopper never looked cute. He always looked fucking disgusting. And then obviously Sanji being in Nami's body was like borderline obsessed.
Honestly, that was my favorite. Like Smoker being wait, what was it? Smoker being in Tashigi's body.
Yeah, Tashigi and Smokers.
Sanji being in Nami's honestly were like the highlights, just because obviously Sanji is like in heaven right the entire time. And then I thought it was hilarious every single time because Smoker is like, yo, it's dumb hot. So I'm gonna like open my like shirt up and Tashigi's like,
his tits are just out.
Yeah, tits are out. So that dynamic I thought was really hilarious.
It was funny as fuck. Also, I love how long it kept going. Like, Law could have stopped it, but he was never in range to do anything. So they had to be stuck like that for a minute. And the part that killed me too was I remember there's one part where Law and Luffy are talking, and this is arguably one of the most important parts of Punk Hazard, where Law says, "I want to make an alliance," but more importantly, he whispers something. We find out later what he whispers is, "I want to take out Kaido." And then Luffy says, "I want to take down all the emperors." That scene's really dope. I like that scene a lot. But it's funny because it's them two, and right next to them is Frankie with Nami in Frankie's body, just looking dumbfounded. I'm like, you shouldn't be in the scene, bro. What are you doing here? It looks so out of place.
Especially with the eyes.
Yeah, with the innocent eyes and shit. I'm like, dude, you should not be in the scene. You're kind of ruining it, bro.
You're ruining the weight of the scene.
I remember at one point Nami tries to cover her mouth like that, but it's Frankie's big ass fucking robotic hand.
Yeah, it's weird. It's hilarious, but it's so weird to see. I was gonna mention one of the bigger parts of this of Punk Hazard is just the giant kids.
Mm-hmm. Like, I like Chopper's involvement in that, by the way, and Nami's too.
Yes. I always love that. Even though Chopper is never, honestly, I don't care that Chopper doesn't really fight much because that's not his purpose, right? Like, yeah, he's always gonna be that guy that's like taking care of like probably what's realistically the bigger issue at hand, right? Like, so Luffy's taking care of the big bad, but dude, Chopper's taking care of these kids, and these kids are like honestly, like another one of those things where when I'm reading through it, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Obviously, you don't realize until much later that there's this huge idea of gigantification going on in the world of One Piece. Like the experiments that's happening on these kids. Like to this day, we still don't understand the importance of what I cannot say that word,
gigantification.
Bro. Gigantification.
I have a
we still
theory.
Don't completely understand.
I have a theory. I've always thought that maybe Big Mom wanted to get in on that because the one thing that Big Mom never had was giants. So a part of me feels like maybe she wanted to get on in that science so it's like she can breed her own giants and can say, I now own every race on the planet, you know?
Spoilers for ahead, of course, but for Whole Cake Island arc. But when we got to Whole Cake, I was here assuming that we were gonna get a reveal of that Big Mom had a part of that, because that's all I was thinking about. Oh, the big kids from Punk Hazard, but no,
never happened. Oh. I really do think maybe that at the end of the day it was just Caesar fucking around and thinking I can create weapons. If I can create giants, then I can create an army, and people would want that army, so they'll pay me for it. A part of me feels that was it because. The main point at the end of the day was sad more than the kids. Like, the actual sad machines and the artificial devil fruits, which is crazy, by the way. Do you remember your reaction when you first saw that?
The artificial devil fruits?
Yes.
I wasn't too crazy about it. Not like... I like the idea, but I also just think it's one of those things where I figured it's like something that was going to get brought up eventually. In a way. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but it just seems like one of those, like, tropes in a series, right? Or, like, having, like dark version of the main hero, right? Like there's always going to be like a shadow to the Sonic or some stupid shit like that. Like for some reason I always kind of figured that this was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, that's why I got hyped.
Maybe
I got hyped because I was expecting. I'm like, I feel like eventually someone's going to try to make a devil fruit, and I always thought it was going to be Vegapunk. I thought he was going to be the one to show that he can make a devil fruit. And then when it happened in Punk Hazard, I was like, Oh shit, we're doing this? Okay, artificial devil fruits. I'm in.
Yeah.
This is dope. I like this.
Funny enough, we technically did kind of see it, but with Momo. But obviously, we didn't know that until
and then
much later.
Spoilers, obviously, but I just love how in Wano it gets even darker because then you find out like the reason why it's called sad is because people actually crack up like crazy and can't stop laughing if it's not actually giving you a power when you eat the artificial devil fruit. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking. How do you come up with this, Oda?
Yeah, and the devil fruit. No, the devil fruit's being called Smiles. The
Sorry. They're called Smileys. Yeah, Smiles. My bad.
Factory was called Sad.
Yeah,
no?
Sad Machine. Yeah,
But it was
Sad
right?
Machines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But, yeah. Overall, I don't think this is the worst arc of One Piece, but because like to me that's still Skypiea in my opinion. Obviously, I got to read back and go through it, but I think the biggest fault with Punk Hazard is that it's the most boring.
It's just bad pacing. I feel like it took forever for them to. Totally not. Mark mentioned this actually in his review. The layout of Punk Hazard is kind of like bland and generic, and it feels like they're constantly running through Punk Hazard, and the pacing is so bad. It seems like it's like infinite hallways and rooms. Like it just feels like it's actually way smaller than it is, but the pacing makes it seem way bigger. Way bigger.
Kind of like spoilers for ahead, but like the inside of Onigashima. You ever felt that way for the inside of Onigashima?
Yeah, like also same thing where it's like, how big is this place really that you guys are running this much? Because, dude, do you remember when they avoided the smoke? The poison smoke?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things about the issue. I mean, about the arc, and that's where the pacing comes back into. But yeah.
Right.
But
yeah,
I mean, overall, I think there's a lot of good moments. Like, I think the beginning, and especially the end, with, like, how Law played Doffy, making him give up his warlord position, like, the crew finally fucking making it out of the smoke. Like, there's a lot of cool moments, but the middle is just... You're gonna
pick Fishman over this one, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Fishman, I think, even though a lot of people don't like the middle, I think the middle actually carries a lot of weight, and I think I liked it a lot. I think it actually had a lot more meaning and a lot of coolness to it in terms of, like, the backstories and all that. But Punk Hazard, there's really not much. I think it just feels like purely a arc for setup. Because now then we go to fucking Dressrosa, and then we still have stuff from this connected to Zao and Wano. It's a gigantic setup arc, and that's really all it is.
Yeah, and honestly, dude, I can't wait to talk about Dressrosa. I can't.
Dressrosa is gonna be a long discussion, dude. That's going to be that's gonna be like 3 parts, dude. We have so much to talk about Dressrosa.
I was debating how long it's gonna. We'll see how long it's gonna be.
It's definitely not gonna be as long as this one. This one's fucking short as shit.
Yeah, it's a short one.
But
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too. There's nothing crazy. I also want to shout out real quick the Zoro Monet scene. Also, by the way, I think that was a really cool fight scene. How Zoro didn't even like use his sword. He kind of just scared her to the point where she just caved. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yes. I completely.
Anyway,
other things I forgot on this. Oh my god, we didn't even talk about Caesar.
I mean, we don't have to do Caesar. Like, let's quickly go over it. Actually, okay. I will say one thing. I did like how Chopper got to see Caesar because I think it's really good for Chopper to realize in the real world not every doctor's good. And I think it was great for him to see, like, okay, fuck my heroes. Like, I fucking looked up to that one dude from Thriller Bark, can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I looked up to him. Turned out he was a dickhead. Caesar a dickhead too. Literally, like, doctors are not idols. Like, they can also be villainous. So I like that too. Caesar himself could have been a threat, but he was the most no backbone pussy I've ever seen as a villain.
So I agree with you that I think he is a pussy, but I do appreciate him in a way that I like much more than like Kuro, right? Kuro from
Captain Kuro.
Village. Was that his name?
Yeah, Captain Kuro.
Captain Kuro, right?
Yeah.
Because at the very least, like Oda was committed to Caesar. Caesar was in the story for a very long time with giant ramifications too, like especially in Zao, right? We'll see. We'll talk about it later. But like that's at the very least. I didn't like Caesar at first, but I do appreciate that he was more than just. And he did more to the overall story of One Piece than a lot of other villains, like Cody Jones, for example. Caesar meant more to the universe.
His science did carry over 3 more arcs. Like, he actually has a lot more weight besides someone like a Captain Kuro or Don Creed. So that's dope, don't get me wrong. It just sucks because he doesn't feel like a real villain. He doesn't feel like a real threat. Dude, once Luffy finally got in the same room as him, it wasn't even it was not even a problem. He took him out so fast.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Oh, and also shout out the Nami and Usopp scene too. I liked a lot. When Nami and Usopp work together to knock down Dofi's henchmen, I thought it was really cool because it shows off like, hey, we're weak, but we can actually do something, you know.
When they like work together,
and they're miles away from an opponent who's running away.
Yeah, facts.
No, but like we said, it's not the worst, it's not the best. It's definitely like down there. I think there's definitely worse arcs, but I don't think it's the worst one. It's just definitely below average. Overall, though, those are our thoughts on the Punk Hazard arc. We have a lot coming up on our plate next. After this, we'll be talking about Dressrosa. We'll probably do 3 parts on that one, and it'll be a long discussion. But until then, if you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, comment. Please share your thoughts on Punk Hazard as well, and hopefully we'll open some discussion down in the comments. And until next time, guys, this has been the Panic Brothers. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Peace.